we feel that from here on, those companies can do maybe I hopefully something like a Tata Elxsi, but if not like Tata Elxsi, at least 2x, 3x.
What's your take behind giving major allocation to the Grindwell kind of a company? Any specific capital good place which you can point out so that investor can work on?
హలో ఫ్రెండ్స్, వెల్కమ్ టు మనీ పర్స్. లెట్స్ లర్న్ సంథింగ్ న్యూ టుడే. ప్రజెంట్ మార్కెట్ ఫాల్ అయితే మన ఇండియన్ మార్కెట్లో చూసినా, ఈ మార్కెట్ ఫాల్లోని మన డొమెస్టిక్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ కన్నా కూడా గ్లోబల్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ వల్ల మన మార్కెట్స్ ఎక్కువగా పడుతున్నాయి కదా. సో ఇలాంటి టైంలోని ఒక గ్లోబల్ ఫండ్ హౌస్ని రిప్రజెంట్ చేసిన ఫండ్ మేనేజర్ని తీసుకొచ్చినట్టయితే మనకి గ్లోబల్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్తో పాటు గ్లోబల్ ఫండ్ హౌస్ ఒక మన ఇండియన్ వ్యూ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో, ఇండియన్ వ్యూ గురించి అండ్ అలాగే వాళ్ళు మన ఇండియన్ మార్కెట్లో ఎటువంటి సెక్టర్స్ మీద, ఎటువంటి స్టాక్స్ మీద పాజిటివ్గా ఉన్నారు, ఇలాంటి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ దొరుకుతుంది కదా అని ఫిలిప్ క్యాపిటల్ ఒక ఫండ్ మేనేజర్ అయిన నిషిత్ షా గారిని రిక్వెస్ట్ చేశాను. ఆయన మనకి మంచి టైం ఇచ్చి చాలా సాలిడ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ షేర్ చేశారు. ప్రజెంట్ వాళ్ళు మన ఇండియన్ మార్కెట్ మీద ఉన్న వ్యూ ఏంటి అండ్ ఈ బేర్ మార్కెట్ ఎన్నాళ్ళు కంటిన్యూ అవ్వచ్చు అని వాళ్ళు అనుకున్నారు, అండ్ అలాగే ఈ బేర్ మార్కెట్లో వాళ్ళు ఎటువంటి స్టాక్స్ని అక్యూములేట్ చేస్తున్నారు, అండ్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఫాలో అవ్వాల్సిన ఇన్వెస్టింగ్ అప్రోచ్ ఏంటి, ఇలాంటి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అంతా షేర్ చేశారు. మీకైతే చాలా వాల్యూ యాడ్ అయితే అవుతుంది. చివరి వరకు చూడడానికి ప్రయత్నించండి. యూ విల్ గెట్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. అండ్ ఎవరికైతే అసలు ఫిలిప్ క్యాపిటల్ గురించి ఐడియా లేదో, ఫిలిప్ క్యాపిటల్ ఈజ్ ఏ 45-year-old ఎంటిటీ. వీళ్ళకి గ్లోబల్లీ 15 కంట్రీస్లో ప్రెజెన్స్ ఉన్నది అండ్ $40 billion పైన అసెట్స్ మేనేజ్ చేస్తున్నారు. అండ్ వీళ్ళు రిలీజ్ చేసే రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్స్ చాలా బాగుంటాయి. మీకు కూడా చాలాసార్లు మన టెలిగ్రామ్ ఛానల్లో షేర్ చేసాను, చూసే ఉంటారు. చాలా డీటెయిల్ రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్స్ వీళ్ళు రిలీజ్ చేస్తారు. రీసెర్చ్ టీమ్ కూడా చాలా స్ట్రాంగ్ రీసెర్చ్ టీమ్ అయితే వీళ్ళకి ఉన్నది. సో ఇంత స్ట్రాంగ్ రీసెర్చ్ పెడిగ్రీ ఉన్న కంపెనీ నుంచి ఎవరైతే రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తున్నారో వాళ్ళు తీసుకొచ్చినట్టయితే మీకు మంచి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ దొరుకుతుంది కదా అని నిషిత్ షా గారిని రిక్వెస్ట్ చేసాం. అండ్ ఈ ఇంటర్వ్యూ మీకు హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అయిందని ఏ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో అనిపించినా ఆ టైంలో వీడియోని లైక్ చేయడం అయితే మర్చిపోకండి. అండ్ ఈ వీడియోకి 10,000 likes టార్గెట్ ఇస్తున్నాను. టార్గెట్ అచీవ్ చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నిద్దాం. అండ్ అలాగే ఈ వీడియో మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్ హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అవుతుందంటే వాళ్ళకి షేర్ చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నించండి. అండ్ నిషిత్ షా గారికి తెలుగు రాదు కాబట్టి ఎవరికైతే తెలుగులో ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కావాలో వీడియో చివరిలోని డీటెయిల్గా మొత్తం సమ్మరీ నేను ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. లెట్ మీ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ నిషిత్ షా గారు.
Hi Nishit, thanks a lot for accepting our invite. I really love Phillip Capital's reports. I keep sharing with my subscribers many times. You guys do really wonderful deep research and you share it to the public. And I'm sure today most of my subscribers will have a lot of learnings. Generally there are a lot of domestic fund house fund managers keep sharing their inputs. Phillip Capital is one entity where they have presence in India and they have global presence as well, so I get global view as well from you. So thanks for accepting our invite and thanks for giving us this time. I'm sure my subscriber are going to love it.
Thanks, Sai, for this opportunity. Of course, I think it's a pleasure for us to connect through you to your very big community that you have developed. I should appreciate the work that you have done for the investment community. I keep on seeing some of your videos, but great, So I look at the numbers of viewerships and all those things. That's a very big service that you are doing for the investment community. So thanks for this opportunity, Sai and Moneypurse. Thanks.
Thank you. Nishit, before we get into presentation, I have one question. In our last conversation, you said, when pharma sector started correcting in 2015, when US FDA inspections kept on going and there are a lot of regulatory alerts which are coming on many of the plans. You said you have approached, you have taken help of your peer fund managers who are based out of USA and you got info that it is better to exit from pharma. And similarly you said when the chemical bull cycle before it to start in India, you got to know there is some information from Chinese market, your peer from Chinese market, and you have taken allocation. Is there any structural theme which is playing right now where you see you get inputs either on the positive side or negative side so that investors can take that advantage?
So Sai, actually what had happened, so we used to own a very large pharma company at that time in 2016 in our portfolio, and suddenly all this USFDA issues started cropping up. So through our research team, and since we have presence in US, we are able to call 2 ex-US FDA inspector out here in India to understand why suddenly all of them are having a problem, how soon they can come out of it, and what is the best way to play that. So that is the time when we got to know that, okay, once you get into the this US FDA kind of changul bolte na, that once you get into that, it is very difficult to come out of it immediately. So that is where we sold off that company. And then, of course, we saw the price fall down by another 30-40%. In case of, again, specialty chemical also, my analyst could travel to China to understand what kind of companies are getting shut down there. So he came out very positive kind of thing. And that is where we invested in a company called as JMM Fodler at around around 800, 900. And then, of course, we rode the entire wave, and today we have exited that stock kind of. So right now, if you ask me, yeah, see, of course, we keep on talking since PhillipsCapital is present across 16 countries globally. So we keep on talking to our colleagues in the global. So of course, as of now, there seems to be a lot of pain, especially in US. Inflation is a very big worry. But what we get to hear is that people are very confident on India because of the issues with China. Say, suppose the largest competition for India globally was China, Russia, South Africa, Turkey. Okay. Now, all these countries have their own issues. China, there's a trust issue. Russia, because of the war. Turkey, South Africa, they have their own issues. Of course, we'll have some competition from players like Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, but there, of course, the economy size is very small. So that is one positive that we are seeing in this the sea of negative that is there currently. So that is one thing that I would like your viewers also to read, that India is going to be replaced for the next decade kind of a thing. And we are being seeing a lot of positive flows coming from when we talk to my colleagues in other countries.
Any specific theme you guys are so bullish now and getting some data from global markets?
So see, one theme that I think that is emerging out here is, after very long, almost 8, 10 years, 12 years kind of thing, private capex has picked up. Okay. And that is where I feel that capital goods and engineering sector should do well kind of thing. So that is one theme that we have been looking at currently and feel that would do well. The second thing is, of course, IT, technology. Of course, I know that global technology stocks have taken a beating. Indian IT stocks have also taken a beating, but I think people are very pessimist as of now on technology. They feel that demand would get disrupted and all those things, especially for Indian IT company. But the commentary that we have been hearing from the Indian managements, as of now, they have not seen any kind of slowdown. And when we talk to our global colleagues as well, we feel that is a theme that is going to continue. Because what has happened, Sai, this IT spend, earlier it was thought as a capex spend. Okay. And there used to be big committees. It was a big decision and all those things. Now, from a capex spend, it has become an opex spend kind of a thing. Okay. So it is a necessary. If you have to run your organization, you have to run your business, then you have to incur that cost. So that is one big change that we have been hearing that is happening in the technology sector. Of course, we'll have to be selective as far as which company that we invest into. But yeah, that is another theme that we are looking at.
Okay, let's start the presentation.
So this is one theme that I felt that will resonate a lot kind of thing. It has been in the news since a very, very long time kind of a thing. That what is the best investment strategy? How one can invest, especially this has come into more fore into recent days. So we thought that, okay, let's try to answer this question. So that is where we thought that let's present. So under this topic, what we'll basically covering with some of the investment styles, what has worked for us at PhillipsCapital, and then of course we are more than happy to take questions from side. So yeah, the first question that we have tried to answer is, why invest into equities? See, I meet a lot of investors. The first thing that they say, I want to create a lot of wealth from stock markets. For me, wealth can only be created through your business and salaries. That is where your majority of the wealth would get created. Why you invest is because you want to diversify your income streams to another asset. Okay. So suppose your business or salary, so suppose you're working in an IT company. Okay. So you're already kind of reliant on for your job on IT industry. So that why you want to invest is because you want to diversify that wealth that you have generated through your salaries or business profits into another asset. Okay. Now, why invest into equities is again a very good question that I keep on answering kind of thing. Yeah? You need to invest into equities because you want to generate returns above inflation. See, today for us, most of us guys, the inflation is not 6%, 7%, which is the government number, or maybe even 8% nowadays. Yeah. Because what we compare, I used to have tea at 10 rupees. Now that 10 rupees has become 20 rupees. We see that. Okay. It's a big jump of 100%. But no, for us, inflation is not only that. First, we used to have tea at a corner store. Today, we have a coffee in Starbucks. Okay. So we pay 200 rupees as well. Lifestyle has also changed. So inflation is not only that 10 to 20, it is actually from 10 to sometimes you also go to Starbucks. So it is a big jump. So that is why if you have to generate returns above inflation, you'll have to invest into it. So that is the first thing. Now, second thing, what are the types of analysis? Okay, so of course we have got technical analysis, quant analysis, fundamentals. In my career over last 17 years, I have seen people successfully also use astrology, numerology as well. But I don't know till how it much works, but for some guys, of course, it works kind of a thing. Okay, so these are the kind of analysis that we have. So now I will take you through each of them. Yeah. So technical analysis. So this focuses on stock prices rather than on company data. It tries to predict the price movement by examining the historical data, mainly price and volume. Okay. The underlying idea is that the market price already reflects the fundamentals of any given stock, which therefore can't be ignored. Okay. So this is about technical analysis. Now quant. Yeah. So nowadays quant has also gained a lot of popularity.
Yes.
Many people, they do a lot of data crunching. So basically, what is this? It is a mathematical and a statistical modeling to understand stock behavior. It tries to present the reality in terms of numerical values. It measures statistical data and complex calculations as well. Well, kind of. So that is quant analysis for you. Now, of course, we come to the more popular, yeah, which most of us are aware of, fundamental analysis. So, under fundamental analysis, what you are trying to do is you're trying to do an analysis of the business financial statements, the balance sheet, the P&L, the cash flow. Okay. So, what we are trying to do under fundamental analysis is we are trying to determine a method wherein we can come out with an intrinsic value of that particular security. And then, of course, purpose is to maybe find that this company is good, bad, based on its balance sheet, P&L, management, cash flow statement. So that is what we try to do with fundamental. Now, of course, I would not take the numerology or the astrology part because I do not know anything about it. But what we'll try to segregate the fundamental analysis further. Yeah, and of course, all of you would have been hearing a lot about this terms we had recently. There is the style growth, okay, quality, value. Then there is BAP. Of course, all of us have been hearing a lot about that strategy. Then there is GAP, growth at reasonable price. There is quality at reasonable price. I don't know if there's something that exists like where if it is quality, it has to be kind of expensive. But of course, sometimes we do keep getting off of it. Passive has gained a lot of prominence, kind of a thing. Yeah. So, but what I feel as far as passive is concerned, in India, I think it is still going to be an active market because it's a developing nation. There are a lot many opportunities. So that is why active management will do well. Of course, for someone who is new to the market and all those things, a passive investment maybe through an ETF or a fund kind of thing makes sense. But I think still an active manager would be able to do much better kind of thing in Indian markets given the dynamics of India. So, Sai, what has worked for us? So what is our style? So we follow a very simple kind of a matrix, which is called as QGB. First is quality. Howsoever big the opportunity is, if we are not sure about the quality of the business, we would not invest into that share. So that is the main thing. Okay, now what do we look into quality? Of course, one is management. That plays a very big important role for us. See, as a rule in PhillipsCapital, we do not, in a PMS, we do not invest into airlines, hotels, PSU stocks, commodities, cyclical businesses, high debt companies, bad management. So as a rule, we do not invest into them. So that is the first call. Okay. So the first thing also we try to answer, there are close to around 5,000 stocks. So what we try to answer is rather than first deciding what to do, we try to decide what not to do. So that is why we have to eliminate 4,800 stocks to try to focus on 200 stocks for a PMS universe kind of thing. So this is the first thing that we look. Then, of course, we look out for clean financial statements. The balance sheet should not have much debt on there. Ideally, okay, we should have good return ratios and all those things. And there should be a certain moat around the business. So that is the first thing. Now, having said that, we look at quality. The second thing is growth. See, great management, great balance sheet, everything is great, but growth hai ke nahi aage jaake. Let's take an example of Colgate. Okay, great company, good management, good balance sheet, but is the industry or Colgate likely to grow by 15 to 18 or 20%? If the answer is no, then we should not look at it. So whenever we are investing into any of the stocks, at back of our mind, what we are thinking that will this company's EPS grow by at least 15% over next 3 years, 5 years? Of course, sometimes the EPS growth won't be linear in nature, and that is why again the stock price is also not linear in nature. But this is what we try to answer internally, that ये company का EPS 15%, 20% से grow हो सकता है. So that is the growth is again a very, very important factor. See, again, what we have seen over last one and a half years, great businesses, why they have stagnated is not more because of valuation, it is more because that growth has not come.
Yes.
So that is where we look at this second parameter kind of. And the third parameter, of course, that we look at is valuation. But since we are very stingy on the first two thing kind of thing, we are little bit liberal as far as valuations are concerned. See, because if you want a great company which has got a very good growth potential, you will have to pay a price. See, there's a Hindi mein kahat hai na, सस्ता रोए बार बार महंगा रोए एक बार kind of a thing. Yeah? So of course that way, but at the same time we do not want to pay exorbitant prices. There's something called as margin of safety. You should, if we are able to say, suppose if I am paying maybe 30p multiple or 35p multiple, but if the growth rates are going to be maybe 20, 25, 30%, then I'm fine. If the PEG ratio is close to 1.5 or maybe at max maybe around 2, it is fine. So we rather than looking at traditional methods of PE, price to book value, we look at other methods as well. Yeah, see, because investing, though of course it is not rocket science, you can't simplify it by maybe a P multiple or a PEG or price to book or maybe price to sales. Yeah? So that is what, so it is a very simple kind of a framework that we follow: quality, growth, valuation. So now what is the conclusion? See, I've tried to project that okay, there's technical analysis, quant, fundamental. In fundamental there are different styles. So what is it? See, there are more than 1,000 ways to reach nirvana. Okay, so similarly there are more than 1,000 ways to make money in the markets. What all of us need to do is we need to decide upon our path. Okay, and as such there's no right answer or wrong answer for in investing. But of course I've been, when you are on Twitter and all those, you keep on getting trolls, yeah, that okay, if you're following a certain style, yeah, some other guys would try, hey, this is bad, this is good. What we should follow, this is my style, okay, and this is what works for me kind of thing. So in fact, in next slide, I'll try to what works. So what works is circle of competence. Each one of us should try to kind of establish what is our circle of competency. Of course, we want to keep learning kind of a thing, but we need to try to operate within of that circle of competence. Now, of course, if we ask Rishabh Pant, okay, now you bowl as a fast bowler, that is not possible. So that is what we want to do. Of course, within your circle of competency, you try to be a better wicket keeper or a better batsman or something like that. So that is the first thing that I would strongly suggest each one of your viewers to do. The second thing is discipline. We need to also be very disciplined, especially when you are following technical analysis or something. Because what I have seen, yeah, some who follows technical analysis, yeah, so if the stock goes up 20%, they would book their profits. But if the stock goes down by 20, 30, 40%, they keep on holding. वो बोलते बाद में ये तो अभी long term है investment. So that is not what we should do kind of thing. Of course, even in fundamental analysis, if your thesis has gone wrong, I think it is better to sell. I will give you a live example. In 2019, late 2019, we had invested in a company called as VIP Bags. Great management, good balance sheet. The stock was doing well for us. But come March 2020, the pandemic kind of thing, we thought that this entire industry has got disturbed kind of thing. Yeah? Because, of course, at that time, we did not know how long this pandemic was going to last, of course. So but we decided that we had bought this because we thought that travel would do well over next 3, 4, 5 years. But we sold it off at around a loss kind of a thing. But after we sold off, the stock went down, further down. We invested that money into IT companies, which did well. So that is what, as far as discipline, you need to be very disciplined. The third thing is we need to accept our mistakes and learn from them. What I have seen is most of even as fund managers, yeah, we don't accept our mistakes kind of a thing. So that is where I think to accept our mistakes and to learn from them. See, of course, you will always make a new mistake or something kind of thing. I still remember Sachin Tendulkar. He used to remember each of his dismissals kind of thing, that in this innings, how did he get out kind of thing. So he always used to try and improve that. Okay, I should not get out in similar fashion kind of a thing. Yeah? So that is, again, this is very, very essential kind of a thing. Of course, I prefer that one should have a long-term horizon. In my experience, whatever I have seen, in my experience over the last 16, 17 years, I've seen very few traders and all those guys who maybe do make money on through tips or maybe technical analysis or trading. They make money on consistent basis. In fact, Zerodha's founder had come out with a statement in between, yeah, that how most of the guys, they lose money while trading. So that is so why do something wherein the success ratio is less kind of thing. Yeah?
Yes.
Because just because it's in fashion or someone says that, oh, I've made some money. So try to focus on long-term wealth creation, guys. So that is what is very essential. The another important thing is that prudent asset allocation. Especially what happens when markets are in your favor. 1 year back, everyone wanted to invest all of their money into equity markets. Today, no one is looking at equity markets. Yeah. So what there should be prudent asset allocation. Of course, you should invest into your PPF, a little bit into gold. Of course, real estate, we Indians do have kind of a thing, but don't try to go overboard or maybe sell at the bottom of the cycle. Kind of. Then, of course, it has to be an informed decision. Yeah, do not go on hearsay, on tips and everything. Of course, if you don't have the time, expertise, and knowledge, give it to an advisor, a manager, to manage it, kind of thing. And then again, have realistic expectation. People have this crazy expectation that अरे 30-40% तो बन जाएगा ना. So that is again something which we need to kind of see. If inflation is 6, 7, 10, maybe for people like us it is 8 to 10% kind of a thing. Yeah? Your expectation should be around 15% if you're able to grow your money on a consistent basis over 10, 15, 20 years. I think that is a great number to look at. And the last is do not let the emotions cloud your judgment. That is also very essential because what sometimes you get so emotional. I've seen so many cycles, and Sai, you also would have seen so many cycles.
Yes.
Emotions get over top of you kind
True.
of a thing. Yeah? So that is what we should avoid kind of a thing. And that is what I wanted to present in this entire kind of thing. So
When it comes to emotion, I just want to ask one question. Nishit, see, I'm in markets from 2007. Okay. There is no very long structural bull market, which I've seen. The one which happened between 2003 to 2007, that was a different kind of rally that we never saw. We saw some small 1.5 year bull markets, but even in that long structure bull market, there is a sharp corrections like this, right? You would have experienced it.
Yeah, sure. So in 2004 to 2008, yeah, in fact, this is something I had looked at. Yeah. So we had 4 corrections of more than 10% from 2004 to 2008. In fact, in twice we had got corrections of more than 20%. 2006, I remember I entered this market in early 2005. 2006, I was a new guy and something, and the markets had corrected 26% kind of thing. Yeah? Index. And of course, the stocks had taken a very big beating kind of a thing. Yeah? This is the time people think, oh, this is the end of the bull market. You should never invest into equity markets. Our FDs are better. Gold is better kind of thing. And that is where, again, the cycle turns kind of. So that is, yeah. So as you rightly pointed out, we keep on seeing this up and downs kind of thing. You see, it is part and parcel kind of thing. Yeah? In equities, you do not get linear returns. Every साल हर FD के जैसा 5%, 6%, you would not get this. You will get your years wherein you make 40-50% returns. You will also get your years wherein you make minus 20% return. But the idea is to invest into good companies and stay invested in them for a long period of time.
I have few questions, Nishit. One,
Sure.
see, everybody talks about the multi-backers which they picked up. Okay, that is good because we can understand what thesis worked, how the strategy worked and all. But very few people who speak about mistakes. I want to understand without mistakes, nothing works, right? So there will be a lot of mistakes you would have done, PhillipCapital would have done, I do it, many of our investors will do. So what kind of mistakes you did in your career and what you have learned from them so that the newcomers who are watching now, okay, they can take some points and can avoid such mistakes in their investing journey.
So, of course, the first thing I always talk about when I'm talking to investor communities, I talk about my mistakes rather than the thing that has worked. So, we have made tons of mistakes. Let me accept that. After doing the research that we do with such a large team and all those things, I am very sure that we are going to make mistakes going ahead as well. Yeah. But one thing before I get on to the mistakes is you need to accept your mistake, sell off that stock and shift to something else or sit on cash. Yeah. So that is again very, very essential. What we need to, as a philosophy, we need to follow is we need to ride on to our winners for longest possible period of time, but sell our losers immediately. But what I've seen the opposite with investors. They sell their losers, they sell their winners immediately, and then ride on to their losers for longest possible period of time. See, we have seen Reliance Communication from 800 rupees to 1. I'm not saying that I would have sold at 800 rupees, but at 500 rupees, even at 100 rupees, I was shouting on top of my voice that this is the time to sell. But yeah, you know investor, अरे 800 का 100 हो गया, ये तो टाइम लेने का है, 10 रुपए हो गए, 10 रुपए में तो मुफ्त है. kind of a thing. Yeah. So
Yes.
that is what we
In
need to
recent
avoid.
examples, we can talk about Yes Bank, Future Retail. I saw
Yeah.
many social media handles. They kept on talking about these stocks when they're falling.
Yeah.
Okay, but investors,
Yeah.
they got into the trap and they bought, and
Yeah.
now
Oh,
they lost
yes.
80-90%
Since
of their
you
money.
spoke about Yes Bank, yeah. So in our PMS in 2016, we used to hold Yes Bank. Of course, that time it was part of the Sensex as well. Everything was hunky dory, but they did this QIP and it did not go through. And I immediately put a message to my investment committee. I'm not comfortable holding this stock because I've gone through the annual report again. I something is amiss. Of course, that time I did not do it. Was such a big hole. Otherwise, we would have made a lot of money by shorting it if it was allowed in PMS kind of thing. But we immediately sold off. So that is what I'm saying. You also need to maybe sell kind of thing. Yeah. Even if you are wrong. So suppose we sold off Majesco. Yeah. We had invested into Majesco 3-4 quarters. The results did not come into our favor, kind of thing. And management kept on saying things would work out with IBM and all those things. But we sold off that stock. After we sold off, the stock went up 2x. Yeah, because again there was some, yes, but it was because of M&A activity. It was not because the fundamentals of the company. So sometimes after selling as well, yeah, you maybe the decision might not go in favor. But out of 10 stocks, 8 or 9 you would be right, kind of thing. Yeah, your gut feeling, maybe you're reading about the statements or about the results. So yeah, coming back to so we have made a lot of mistakes. We had invested in a company called as Shah in 2016, 2017. They were the largest video content library in India. That time, the content theme was just picking up, kind of thing. They were number one, number two YouTube channel, yeah. But the results were not coming in quarter after quarter, quarter after quarter. Things were not working out, and we are surprised why it is not working out. And for us, it is not research ek baar kiya and then bhul jao kind of thing. It's for us, it is a constant process. We came across something that we are not happy with, and then we immediately sold off the stock. Yeah, so we sold at around 20% loss, but we sold at around 300 levels. Today the stock is at around 100 levels. Yeah, so we have made a mistake. So again, except recently again we have made couple of mistakes wherein results are not coming into our favor, kind of thing. So we have sold off those stocks as well. Yeah? We had invested in a company called Camlin Fine Science, which was a specialty chemical company. Again, what was happening? Good company, great, but every time there was a one spoil sport for the company. Either China was not doing well, or Europe was not doing well, or maybe India was not doing well. If everything was doing well, the currency was playing a kind of a bad thing for them, and the results were not coming. So that's why we again sold off the stock at a loss. But of course, you always mistake hai, except shift to something else.
I'll just say one word with yours. Guys, the reason for me asking this question is, see, many times we commit mistakes. See, mistake doesn't mean only the price correction. Mistake means the fundamental issue with the company. If you find an issue, fundamentally there is something wrong with the company, even if you are at 20, 10, 20, 30% loss, it is better to exit there itself, because there are, as Nishit said, okay, sometimes some stock selling at 100 is also good. Okay, the Reliance Communication kind of, it came to single digit. So at least we save that money. So don't kept on holding that stock thinking that this is going to go up. When the fundamentals are deteriorating, exit it immediately. That's the best way of
See, again, GMM Fodler. So we had invested in that stock at 700, 800 rupees. We rode the entire wave. But when the news came out of when the Indian management bought over the parent company, we thought that it is a very big negative kind of a thing. Of course, so we exited that stock. Yeah, we exited the stock at 4x, 5x kind of a thing. But again, what you need to kind of also see, sometimes what the other mistake that I've seen, that you want to buy at the bottom and sell at the top. That is not possible.
Yes.
I always tell my analysts also, you need to keep something on the table for the next guy also to make money. Then only there would be you'd get an exit kind of a thing. Yeah? So that is what we try to do.
Okay. What's your short-term and medium-term view on markets, Nishit? I know long-term will be bullish. Without that, we cannot invest in equities. But yeah, what's your short-term and medium-term view? There is a lot of uncertainty in global markets. What kind of views which you are getting from your global peers?
So see, I feel that next few months are going to be challenging. Okay, for the markets, we'll see a lot of volatility. Okay. So what will happen over the last 2 years, we have seen everything has done well. Yeah, gadhe ghode dono bhage. In fact, the bad stocks have done better than the good stocks, kind of a thing. And we have not seen any volatility. Over the last 3-4 months, we have seen a lot of volatility with downward kind of trajectory. I feel that next few months also we'll see a lot of volatility in the markets. But it is this volatility that we have to now use to construct a very good portfolio. See, the word construct itself says that it has to take time kind of thing. See, what happens in a raging bull market, it is you're always doing the catching up game. But it is times like this that provides you an ideal kind of a situation to slowly put in the blocks in place for the next bull market to come in. Yeah? So of course, long term, I'm super bullish on India. I feel the next decade belongs to emerging economies. And in emerging economies, India should be the best performing asset class kind of a thing. But yeah, next few months challenging. We will also have some sideways movement kind of a thing. But we should not get worried about all those things. If you're getting a good business at a decent valuation, I think you should start investing kind of.
Okay. Last question. You said capital goods, you're bullish, right? But capital goods is a vast theme. Any specific capital good place which you can point out so that investor can work on?
So see, in capital goods and infra, there are more bad companies than good companies. So that is, again, you have to be very careful kind of a thing wherein you are investing into. So try to invest into companies which do not have very huge debt on their balance sheet, or maybe ideally they should not have any debt on their balance sheet. Okay. So, and you should look at what did they do in over last 5 years when the private capex was not doing well. What did they do at that time? If they did well at that time, the chances are that in next 3 to 5 years when private capex has picked up, a lot of activity has started happening at the ground level, those companies would do much better. Yeah, so we are looked at a couple of MNC companies, and that is where we are very bullish on kind of thing. We feel that from here on, those companies can do maybe I hopefully something like a Tata Elxsi, but if not like Tata Elxsi, at least 2x, 3x kind of.
Okay, that's fantastic. One last question. It's not a recommendation kind of, but wanted to understand what's your take behind giving major allocation to the Grindwell kind of a company.
So again, Grindwell Norton, it's an MNC company. Yeah, if you go to see over last few years when again the capex cycle was not doing well, they have done well with good management, good balance sheet, and since now, capex cycle will pick up. Of course, auto sector will pick up. They would do very well from here, kind of. So that is one of the companies that we have betting on capital engineering sector.
ఇప్పుడు నేను ఈ ఇంటర్వ్యూలో నిషిత్ షా గారు షేర్ చేసిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో దాన్ని సమ్మరైజ్ చేస్తాను. నేను మార్కెట్ కండిషన్ గురించి అడిగినప్పుడు ఆయన ఏమన్నారంటే గ్లోబల్ పియర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో వాళ్ళ గ్లోబల్ పియర్స్ అందరూ ఇండియన్ మార్కెట్స్ మీద అయితే పాజిటివ్గా ఉన్నట్టుగా ఆయన చెప్తున్నారు. అండ్ అలాగే వాళ్ళు బిలీవ్ చేస్తున్నది ఏంటంటే ఈ డెకేడ్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో నెక్స్ట్ 10 years బిలాంగ్స్ టు ఇండియా అని చెప్తున్నారు. అండ్ ఇండియన్ మార్కెట్స్లో వీళ్ళు ప్రైవేట్ క్యాపెక్స్, క్యాపిటల్ గూడ్స్, ఐటీ స్టాక్స్ మీద ఎక్కువగా ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నట్టుగా చెప్తున్నారు. అండ్ ఐటీ విషయంకి వచ్చేసరికి ఆయన ఏమన్నారంటే ప్రజెంట్ ఏదైతే ఫియర్ ఉన్నదో అంటే ఐటీ విల్ లూజ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ అది ఇది అని చెప్పి ఫియర్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో ఇది షార్ట్ టర్మ్ ఫియర్. ఎందుకంటే ఐటీ స్పెండింగ్ గ్లోబలీ క్యాపెక్స్ స్పెండింగ్ నుంచి ఓపెక్స్ స్పెండింగ్గా మారిందని చెప్తున్నారు. క్యాపెక్స్ స్పెండింగ్, ఓపెక్స్ స్పెండింగ్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటంటే క్యాపెక్స్ స్పెండింగ్ అంటే క్యాపిటల్ అంటే వాళ్ళు ఏదైతే అప్గ్రేడ్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటారో అప్గ్రేడ్ సిస్టమ్స్ని అవి అప్గ్రేడ్ చేద్దాం అనుకున్నప్పుడు స్పెండ్ చేసేది క్యాపెక్స్ కింద వస్తుంది కదా. దట్ ఈస్ డిస్క్రిషనరీ, స్పెండ్ చేద్దాం వద్దు లేదు అన్నది బోర్డ్స్ డిసైడ్ అయ్యి డిస్కస్ చేసుకుని చేయొచ్చు. బట్ ఓపెక్స్ స్పెండింగ్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఆపరేషన్స్ రన్ అవ్వాలంటే స్పెండ్ చేయాల్సిన మనీ. మనకు అందరికీ తెలుసు టెక్నాలజీని అడాప్ట్ చేసుకోకుండా ఆపరేషన్స్ని రన్ చేయడం కష్టం అవుతుందని. అంటే టెక్నాలజీ వల్ల బేసికలీ స్పీడ్, రిలయబిలిటీ ఇవన్నీ కూడా బాగా పెరుగుతున్నాయి. కాబట్టి టెక్నాలజీని అడాప్ట్ చేసుకోకుండా కంపెనీస్ సర్వే అవ్వవు. కాబట్టి ఇది ఐటీ స్పెండింగ్ అనేది క్యాపెక్స్ స్పెండింగ్ నుంచి ఓపెక్స్ స్పెండింగ్గా మారింది. కాబట్టి ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ అవి కోల్పోయే ఛాన్సెస్ చాలా తక్కువగా ఉంటాయి. సో అందు గురించి ఐటీలో కూడా షార్ప్ రికవరీ చూడొచ్చని వాళ్ళు ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నట్టుగా చెప్తున్నారు. అండ్ ఆయన షేర్ చేసిన ప్రెజెంటేషన్ బిగినింగ్ స్లైడ్స్లో మనకి ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే చాలామంది ఈక్విటీ మార్కెట్స్లోకి బుల్ మార్కెట్స్లో ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఇన్కమ్ జనరేట్ చేయడానికని వస్తుంటారు. అలా రాకూడదు. బేసికల్ మీ వెల్త్ అన్నది మొత్తం మీ బిజినెస్లోని జాబ్స్ ద్వారా మీ వెల్త్ అయితే క్రియేషన్ జరుగుతుంది. ఈక్విటీ మార్కెట్స్లోకి మనం ఎందుకు రావాలంటే మన మనీని డైవర్సిఫై చేయడానికి అండ్ అలాగే ఇన్ఫ్లేషన్ కన్నా బెటర్ రిటర్న్ సంపాదించడానికి రావాలి. కానీ ఈక్విటీ మార్కెట్స్లోకి వచ్చి సర్వైవల్ కోసం ఇన్కమ్ సంపాదిద్దామని రాకూడదు. అండ్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో కొందరు ఫండమెంటల్ అనాలిసిస్ ఫాలో అవుతారు, కొందరు టెక్నికల్ అనాలిసిస్ ఫాలో అవుతారు, కొందరు క్వాంటిటీ అనాలిసిస్ ఫాలో అవుతారు. మనం ఏ అనాలిసిస్ ఫాలో అయినా కూడా బేసికలీ మనం ఏవైతే అనాలిసిస్లో రూల్స్ ఉంటాయి ఆ రూల్స్ని అయితే ఫాలో అవ్వాలి. కొంతమంది బేసికలీ 20% పెరగగానే అనాలిసిస్ ప్రకారం సేల్ చేసేస్తుంటారు. బట్ కానీ 20% పడిన స్టాక్స్ ఏవైతే ఉంటాయి వాటిని మాత్రం అలా హోల్డ్ చేస్తుంటారు. అలా హోల్డ్ చేయకూడదు. బిజినెస్ ఫండమెంటల్స్ డిటరేట్ అవుతున్నాయని మనకి ఏ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో అనిపించినా కూడా వెంటనే ఆ స్టాక్స్ నుంచి ఎగ్జిట్ అయిపోవాలి. అండ్ అలాగే ఆయన ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే మార్కెట్ నుంచి డబ్బులు సంపాదించడానికి మనకి వేరియస్ మోడ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, బట్ మనకి ఏ మోడ్ సెట్ అవుతుందో మనం తెలుసుకోగలగాలి. యాజ్ ఎ ఇన్వెస్టర్ అది తెలుసుకున్నప్పుడే మనం రియల్గా మార్కెట్ నుంచి డబ్బులు సంపాదించగలం. ఒకరోజు ఒకరు వాల్యూ ఇన్వెస్టింగ్ అప్రోచ్ ఫాలో అవ్వాలనగానే వెంటనే వాల్యూ ఇన్వెస్టింగ్ వైపు వెళ్ళిపోవడం, ఇంకొక రోజు ఇంకొక ఇంటర్వ్యూ చూసి వాల్యుయేషన్తో సంబంధం లేదు మోట్ ఉంటే చాలు అని చెప్పి ఆ ఇంటర్వ్యూ చూసిన తర్వాత వాల్యూ బేస్డ్ స్టాక్స్ అనేటిని సెల్ చేసి ఆ మోట్ ఉన్న కంపెనీస్ అయిపోయి PE మల్టిపుల్లో కొనడం, ఇలాంటివి వేరియస్ మోడ్స్లోకి షిఫ్ట్ అవ్వకుండా మనకి పర్సనల్లీ ఏది కంఫర్టబుల్ స్టైల్ ఉంటుందో ఆ స్టైల్ మనం ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయగలగాలి. ఇది కరెక్ట్, ఇది రాంగ్ అని ఉండదు. ఈ ప్రతి ఒక్క ఇన్వెస్టర్కి వాళ్ళకి సెట్ అయ్యే స్టైల్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో వాళ్ళ సైకాలజీ, వాళ్ళ ఇన్వెస్టింగ్ అప్రోచ్ అండ్ అలాగే వాళ్ళ క్యాపిటల్ ఇవన్నిటి మీద డిపెండ్ అయ్యి ఒక స్టైల్ అయితే ఉంటుంది. ఆ స్టైల్ని ఫాలో అవ్వాలి, అది తెలుసుకోవాలి. అది తెలుసుకున్నప్పుడే మనం మార్కెట్లోని డబ్బులు సంపాదించగలం అని చెప్తున్నారు. అండ్ ఇప్పుడు మీకు స్క్రీన్ మీద కనబడుతున్న స్లైడ్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో ఇది ప్రజెంటేషన్ మొత్తంలోకి నాకు పర్సనలీ ఐ ఫీల్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ స్లైడ్. ప్రతి ఒక్క ఇన్వెస్టరు ఈ స్లైడ్ గురించి అయితే తెలుసుకోవాలి. కొంచెం టైం స్పెండ్ చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నిస్తాను. ఆయన ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే ప్రతి ఒక్క ఇన్వెస్టర్ సర్కిల్ ఆఫ్ కాంపిటెన్స్ పెంచుకోవాలి. అంటే బేసికలీ కొందరికి FMCG సెక్టర్ మీద బాగా ఎక్కువ నాలెడ్జ్ ఉంటుంది, కొందరికి ఫైనాన్షియల్ సెక్టర్ మీద ఉంటుంది, కొందరికి ఫార్మా మీద ఉంటుంది. మన సర్కిల్ ఆఫ్ కాంపిటెన్స్ ఏదైతే సెక్టర్లో ఉన్నదో ఆ సెక్టర్లో మనం ప్లే చేసినట్టయితే మనం ఆ సైకిల్ని బెటర్గా ప్లే చేయగలం. అంటే పీకౌట్ అయిపోయినప్పుడు మనకి ఎగ్జిట్ అవ్వడం తెలుస్తుంది, అండ్ బాటంలో ఉన్నప్పుడు మనకి ఎప్పుడు పికప్ చేయాలి, అందులోని ఏ స్టాక్స్ పికప్ చేయాలి, ఇవన్నీ ఐడియా వస్తుంది. అందు గురించి ప్రతి ఒక్క ఇన్వెస్టర్ వాళ్ళకి బాగా నాలెడ్జ్ ఉన్న సర్కిల్ ఆఫ్ కాంపిటెన్స్ ఏ సెక్టర్లో అయితే ఉన్నదో అది బిల్డ్ చేసుకోవాలి. లేదా మనకు ఒక సెక్టర్ని సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుని 1-2 థీమ్స్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుని దాంట్లోని మన సర్కిల్ ఆఫ్ కాంపిటెన్స్ని బిల్డ్ చేసుకున్నట్టయితే ఈక్విటీ మార్కెట్స్లో వీ కెన్ రియల్లీ మేక్ మనీ. లేదంటే చాలామంది పీక్స్లోని వేరే సెక్టర్స్లో ఎంటర్ అవుతుంటారు అండ్ బాటంలోని ఎగ్జిట్ అయిపోతుంటారు. అండ్ సెకండ్ పాయింట్ డిసిప్లిన్ ఈజ్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. మనం ఏవైతే రూల్స్ సెట్ చేసుకుంటాం ఆ రూల్స్ దాటి మనం వెళ్ళకూడదు. అంటే సమ్ స్పెషల్ కండిషన్స్, స్పెషల్ సిచ్యువేషన్స్ వస్తే తప్పించి మన రూల్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఆ రూల్స్ని మనం కంపల్సరీ ఫాలో అవ్వాలి. మనం లెట్స్ సే ఒక స్టాక్ కొనేటప్పుడు ఒక 100% పెరిగిన తర్వాత నేను ఎగ్జిట్ అవుతాను సైక్లికల్ స్టాక్ని ఎగ్జాంపుల్గా తీసుకుందాం. ఓకే, నేను ప్రాక్టికల్ కేసు చెప్పాలంటే దాంట్లో నేను షుగర్ స్టాక్స్ కొన్నప్పుడు నేను అదే టార్గెట్ పెట్టుకున్నాను, 100% రిటర్న్ రాగానే ఎగ్జిట్ అయిపోతామని. 100% రిటర్న్ రాగానే అవి ఎగ్జిటెడ్. మీకు ఎగ్జిట్ అయినప్పుడు చెప్పండి. అలాగే మనం రూల్ పెట్టుకున్నప్పుడు ఆ రూల్ బ్రేక్ చేయకూడదు. ఆ రూల్ బ్రేక్ 100% రిటర్న్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఇంకొంచెం పెరుగుతుందేమో అని వెయిట్ చేయడం, ఎస్పెషల్లీ సైక్లికల్ స్టాక్స్లోని. ఆర్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫండమెంటల్స్ డెటరేట్ అవుతున్నా కూడా రికవర్ అవుతుందని హోప్తోని వాటిని అలా హోల్డ్ చేయడం, ఇలాంటివి ఫాలో అవ్వకుండా మన డిసిప్లిన్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నదో మనం నేర్చుకున్న డిసిప్లిన్, ఇద్దరు ఫండమెంటల్ అనాలిసిస్, టెక్నికల్ అనాలిసిస్ ఏది ఫాలో అయినా కూడా మనం నేర్చుకున్న డిసిప్లిన్ అయితే మాత్రం డీవియేట్ అవ్వకూడదు. అండ్ ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఈక్విటీ ఇన్వెస్టింగ్లోని మనం యాజ్ ఎ ఇన్వెస్టర్ తీసుకునే డెసిషన్స్ ఏవైతే ఉంటే ప్రతి ఒక్క డెసిషన్ కరెక్ట్ అవ్వాలని రూల్ లేదు కదా, కొన్ని మిస్టేక్స్ కూడా చేస్తాం. మిస్టేక్ చేసినప్పుడు ఆ మిస్టేక్ చేసామని మనం తెలుసుకొని మిస్టేక్ నుంచి బయటపడాలి. అండ్ ఆ మిస్టేక్ నుంచి మన లెర్నింగ్స్ ఏవైతే ఉంటే వాటిని రిపీట్ చేయకుండా ఉండాలి. అవి చేసినప్పుడు యాక్చువల్లీ మనం లాసెస్ని తగ్గించుకుని మనం ఆల్ఫా క్రియేషన్ అనేది ఎక్కువ జరుగుతుంది. అదే మనం చేస్తున్న మిస్టేక్ని రిపీట్ చేస్తున్నాం అనుకోండి, మనకి ఈక్విటీ అసెట్ క్లాస్ మీద చిరాకు వచ్చేస్తుంది ఏదో పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైంలో. ఇక్కడ డబ్బులు సంపాదించామని చెప్పి మార్కెట్స్ నుంచి ఎగ్జిట్ అయిపోతాం అన్నమాట. మనం మిస్టేక్స్ ఏవైతే చేస్తాం ఆ మిస్టేక్స్ నుంచి నేర్చుకుని మిస్టేక్స్ని అవాయిడ్ చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నించాలి. అండ్ అలాగే ప్రుడెంట్ అసెట్ అలొకేషన్, చాలామంది అగైన్ ఈ తప్పు చేస్తుంటారు. పెట్టిన డబ్బులన్నీ రియల్ ఎస్టేట్లో పెట్టేయడం ఆర్ లేకపోతే ఈక్విటీలో పెట్టేయడం ఇలా చేస్తుంటారు. అలా కాకుండా మన ఫైనాన్షియల్ గోల్స్, మన ఏదైతే రిస్క్ అప్రేట్ ఉందో దాన్ని బట్టి మనం తీసుకోవాల్సిన అసెట్ అలొకేషన్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో దాన్ని తప్పకుండా ఫాలో అవ్వడం ఈజ్ ద బెస్ట్ డిసిప్లిన్. అండ్ లాస్ట్ పాయింట్, మనం ఎమోషన్స్కి బలి కాకూడదు అని చెప్తున్నారు. అంటే ఎదర్ గ్రీడ్ కానీ ఫియర్ కానీ బలి కాకూడదు. ఎమోషన్స్ని కంట్రోల్ చేసుకున్నప్పుడే మనం ఈక్విటీస్లోని మంచి డబ్బులు అయితే సంపాదించగలం. ఓవరాల్గా నిషిత్ షా గారి ఇంటర్వ్యూలోని మనం నేర్చుకోవాల్సిన కీ పాయింట్స్ అయితే ఇవి మాత్రమే కాకుండా ఇంకొన్ని స్టాక్స్ గురించి, సెక్టర్స్ గురించి డిస్కషన్ అయితే జరిగింది కదా. ఐ హోప్ మీకు అయితే అవైతే అర్థమయ్యాయి అనుకుంటాను. తెలుగులో రిపీట్ చేసినట్టయితే లెంత్ పెరిగిపోతుంది. ఈ వీడియోలో మీకు ఏదైతే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ దొరికిందో ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మీకు హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అయింది అని మించి ఇప్పటివరకు వీడియోని లైక్ చేయనట్టయితే వీడియోని తప్పకుండా లైక్ చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నించండి. అండ్ ఈ వీడియో మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్కి హెల్ప్ఫుల్ అవుతుందంటే వాళ్ళకి తప్పకుండా షేర్ చేయడానికి ప్రయత్నించండి. అండ్ మీరు ఇదే ఫస్ట్ టైం మన మనీ పర్స్ ఛానల్కి వచ్చి ఛానల్ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయనట్టయితే ఇక ఛానల్ లోగో మీద క్లిక్ చేసి ఛానల్ సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేస్తూ పక్కన బెల్ ఐకాన్లోని ఆల్ నోటిఫికేషన్స్ యాక్టివేట్ చేసుకోండి. నేను సాయి కృష్ణ పత్రి మరొక ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ వీడియోతో కలిసాను. టిల్ దెన్ హ్యావ్ ఫన్.